6/1, 2022. I'm laughing because not only 12/12, like, come on, how many more signals can Spirit give you that you're doing the right thing and going the right direction and things like that? And then it's just fun, too, to look at double Hangman, also double Empress, and the Lover's card. On top of that, it's a 7-day, and it's funny because some stuff between me and my DM, like sevens have always been a thing. And I laugh because, of course, he only thought of it as a intimate sexual thing related to his membership. Whereas for me, it was so much more. It was like, it's a magic number in the middle of us. It's the chariot card, victory. It's the seventh month. It's, the seven keys, the seven dimensions. There's so many beautiful things about sevens, right? And it's funny because what calls my mind to emphasize that it is 6/1, that it is 7, is two things. One, I couldn't have planned this. I let I let spirit lead me and followed my heart and my intuition and my mind and my ego and my light. And now I sit here and I think about how many signs and signals that I got way back in August and September of 2021 that June 2022 would be very significant and that it would have a lot to do with the number 7. And then the other thing is sitting here. I'm in a parking lot of a restaurant that I found for me and the boys that my DM now even takes our youngest son to, because none of the other ones of the small chain of them are really all that great, and the others are wrapped up in icky memories from all over. And yet he comes up to this one in my neck of the woods in a place that I found long ago. I kept working my Capricorn goat butt off to get to, and now I'm here. And now I can do this vlog. Not as a last vlog of things, but as a last vlog of the story, of the chapters of my life, of homelessness. And I don't know, like, I keep thinking about, I went and got our oldest son some Subway tonight. And when I went up to order it, I made it as the last person before they closed. Got there, and the lady looked at me, and she said, first she said, "You are incredibly patient. I haven't had anybody as calmly and quietly wait like you have, and I appreciate you." And I was like thinking, oh, see, Spirit makes time and finds ways to make sure you feel appreciated. And then she says, and also, you look like just done for the day. Like, I said, oh yeah. I said, yep. I chased alpacas around a ranch and helped with their breeding and helped with people that come and stay as a sort of B&B style thing. I went and cleaned up the last place that we stayed in temporarily, our transitional housing in a trailer. I took care of some court stuff. I took care of some animal stuff. I argued with my DM all day. I talked with both my kids. I visited my youngest school. I helped my oldest do GED prep. I did DoorDash. I went to the bank. I went to 2 banks, actually. I went to the bank where I got my check written so that I could get it cashed, and then I took my son to his bank account, his credit union that I got him long ago, while sitting there thinking about, okay, how much could I put in small amounts to pay off my account so that when it's time for our checks, we can both go there. In any case, it feels good to be sitting here in this parking lot of a place that I found and took my kiddos to. That's so great that even my bratty old DM is madder than all hell at me. Well, more mad at himself, but mad at me for making him face it. Thinks that it is the best one to take our kids to. Well, our youngest two, anyways. And I'm proud of myself for sitting here and being able to speak my piece, as tired as I am, before I drive home to go to bed. Because today, the rental agreement was made. And not only was it made, it's a rent that I can afford to pay and save some money and spend some on my kids and feed them. Might have to do DSHS again here and there. Just like some TANF stuff here and there, but only for a small amount of time. Spirit's blessed me with lots of different work options to fill in different gaps. It's just getting there, and it's allowing myself to rest here and there, a lesson that it took me a long time to learn. But now we have our own housing, and my boss, who is also my landlord, even told me, because I was checking in with him about the big motorhome that we're in for right now, while we fix up a house and look at different things. And I was thinking forward about when we're not in the motorhome anymore, and I was asking him about, well, what would you like for this to be when we're not in here anymore? Do you want it to be like a little B&B? Do you want it to be a place you can rent out to the next person? Like, what would you like? And he looked at me almost surprised and said, well, it's yours now. And it's funny. I mean, I know, how do you put it? Like, I know that he meant that in the sense that he has no plans to, like, rush us out of there and do something else with it. Like, it's not necessarily him saying, oh no, this motorhome's yours. Like, that might actually happen. We'll see. But we got to talking about the economy and rents and things like that. And it was definitely clear that it's like, no, you have home here, as long as you want it. And he appreciated also that I was thinking forward, what do you want this to be? What is your dream next? I think that's one of my favorite things about him as a boss. There are various times and ways and places that already that it's like, nah, it's not that we don't get along, but just some communication differences we're working out. But he's definitely a dreamer. And I'm definitely one of those people that likes to help people put their dreams together. So I don't mind a little chapter of my life in that space. And how many times do you get that, going through homelessness? Like I took my oldest son and his bird, his emotional support cockatiel through it, while also standing up to a stadium of pirates to help protect my youngest son and get him through while being at my DM's, his dad's, while my DM's dad is being a pirate himself. And advocated for him. I'm still doing that stuff. And now, like, it's funny. I couldn't find a word for how to talk with my youngest about sometimes, like, I feel like I have to speak in a piratey language to his dad, to my DM, to get him to do basic, need stuff for the kids. And we talked about it, and it's like, no, it's not pirating, it's anti-pirating. Yeah. Especially because my intention's never the same as a pirate's. And I started getting real honest with him. And it made me realize I'm getting honest with myself too. Like, I took the road less traveled. And of all irony, I did what everyone told me to do. I picked me. I picked self-love. I picked self-respect. I picked chastity. I picked faith and creativity and the belief that there's something better out there than where I was for far too long. Something better than the place where I definitely end up being a pirate myself, and that my kids would probably grow up being pirates too. And I said, F you to all of that and everyone who wanted to stay in it. It wasn't an intentional F you. It was more like, I can't stay here with you anymore. I can't go deeper with you. I care too much about myself and my children and the world that we participate in. And I am walking myself off your plank, you know. But that, and I even left the door open for everybody so long as they got healthy. But they all said, "Arr." And they all said no. So far, anyways. And the funny thing is, in the past, I probably would have been exceptionally sad about that. But you know what? I let myself do my grieving. I let myself have a little time and a little space for myself, even at a time where that was maybe conceivably the worst possible thing to do. But I did it. I did it, and I'm sitting there. I'm sitting here looking at everything that's transpired. I mean, there's so many things going on that I definitely would not have picked off of a menu, that I definitely would prefer not to be experiencing right now. Though there's also this, like, I don't know, like this underlying joy and gratitude, and I don't know what the word is. It's not thunderstruck. It's not awestruck. I don't know exactly what it is. It's like this amazement with looking at where I was almost a year ago, and that was for most of my life. Like, yeah, I had housing. Yeah, I had access to money, but I wasn't happy. People around me weren't happy. And it was constant shaky motion, constant abuse between everybody and everybody. And most definitely the kids getting the worst of it from everyone, including me in a lot of ways. I mean, I know that I was never as bad because I look at how my kids see me, how they tell the story of me over the years. And I know that I did better, even in my worst moments, though I wasn't doing my best. Not for them, not for me. And I was waiting on a lot of people that probably, well, I don't like to say that they weren't ever going to get there. I like to say that I don't know what's on their paths. I only know what's on mine. And I chose to have faith that everybody get to where they wanted to go in their own time, in their own pace, and that I could allow myself to do that too. And I took many leaps of faith. And now I'm thinking about, I mean, we've been in the new place a couple of days, but I get to drive back to it tonight. My deposit already paid off in labor, money put into things that I like doing, that I know how to do, working on cars, working on building things, cleaning things up. It's already paid. My oldest son has a bank account with more money in it than I probably had in a bank account. Well, I mean, I've had it a few times from donations from all of you wonderful people, but it didn't last long because I made sure that he and his emotional support cockatiel were always safe and warm and fed, and feeling at least appreciated by me, at least wanted by me, if nothing else. Now I get to look at, it's great at work today. I was talking with a coworker about my oldest son and him at work. And with his autism, we definitely agreed, like, he's good, he's best with jobs that are very, like, straightforward. You do this, and you do that, right? And because there's a lot of work that's very much like stop and do this, and wait, go do that, and go handle this. But there's also lots of work that's just very consistent work, and my oldest is very good with, here's the instructions for how to do this job. This is an important job. You do this job. And then, you know, if an alpaca gets stuck in the fence, it gets its head stuck in the fence, I can go handle that. If something's going on with something else on the land, I can go handle that. And I know that I can trust my oldest to do the jobs that just need focus, that just need someone to do the consistent things. And it was funny because my coworker had said, "Yeah, no, I know," and talked with the boss about it. Problem is, you know, he sees a strong looking man around, and he's like, "Oh, here, go do this, go do that," you know. And I still haven't even told my oldest. I'll tell him because he'll really appreciate it. But it's like, you know, you don't look like a teenager who's just like, you know, wandering around. You look like a strong young man who's available to help with whatever, you know, whatever thing. Which is similar to, like, I mean, when we were staying in the cars and I picked up work in a kitchen, and I'd say, and you know, we'd be parked outside and be like, come on in, use the bathroom whenever you need to. And a couple people made a remark, like they asked me, you know, who's that man that came in there? And I'm laughing, I'm going, that's, you know, at the time, it was like, that's my 16-year-old. You know, but it's true, though. I mean, he's a young man now. Even our therapist has been like, you know, no matter how many times I may have gotten on myself about, like, that I couldn't find a better situation for him to be in, that I felt mad and sad and disappointed that my DM, his dad, you know, didn't make space for him, and so he could at least have consistency while I figured out this part. Still, though, like, look at the feedback, you know. We were just looking at his back the other day, which I've been worried about because he had a bit of a curve in it before, and I knew that it was mostly from sedentary lifestyle stuck with my family and me trying to figure out how to help them and get help from them and do the cycles of things with them and, you know, do the karmic end of stuff with my DM, and like now his back is pretty straight. He stands tall. He's been through a fair amount. It's a lot of things he should not have had to have been through, but I can look at him and hear from people around us that, you know, even with him being a wonderfully gender fluid person, people see him as a man. And whenever I tell him that, like, he smiles. He smiles so much, you know. And I love being able to, like, I told him the other day, like, you know, we're not just staying in this place, we're improving this place. So if you have ideas for, like, you know, you're staying in this space, this is your room space, what would you do with it? What would you add to it? What would you remove from it? You know, we have resources, we have people to help, we have things we can do. What would you want to do? And he's already been coming up with ideas, you know, and it's like, yes, yes, this is exactly, you know, I mean, we're not done where we're at. I'm not gonna just stick to being in a motorhome, but that is a beautiful step in my mind, especially from going from where we were with my adoptive family, stuck in a horde and constant criticism and just you name it, to what I thought was a friend's place that turned into a very scary place very quickly, to the car, or what is it, a strange acquaintances in, well, I was going to say Gold Bar, but it was more Banner. It was a strange little town out there, to, you know, hotel rooms, to being in the car while it's snowing, to getting stuck on Oak Harbor, to, you know, you name it. You know, getting to a few couches on in a few friends' houses here and there, and then getting lucky and getting into the trailer that we were last at for enough months, and then needing to move out of there faster than we thought we would. But the whole time, at any time the feedback came to me that it was time to move to the next step, I wasn't scared anymore, like I used to be, of every step, you know? And now we're here. We're here, and I can say, like, without any hesitation, that I earned this, you know? I earned this, and it's not been as hard as I feared that it would be, and I feel like that's because I took the time over the past few years to learn to actually love myself, to let goodness in, to let light in, to know that I don't have to do it alone and that I can get help and it can still be my success. Not that it excludes anyone else's success from it or contributions, just that, yes, that's my success. I had someone tell me today, they were asking about the situation that I found for us. And they said, you know what? And it's funny because someone may have been telling them, oh, they're just lucky. Said saying that I'm just lucky, which isn't a bad thing for people to say about me, but it's just funny. But what I was, what they said was, it's not luck, it's hard work. You've earned it. And I said, that's right. That's what I'm saying. Yes, there's been luck involved in much of it. It's all been good luck. Even the bad stuff has been good luck, you know? And I like being able to look back at this time and this space, and even at all the videos that I've made along the way over the past like 40 months on this channel, that I get told often that even when I feel like I'm just rambling on about nothing in particular, somehow, somewhere, some time and dimension, it helps somebody. That's why I keep doing it. And I can look at all of that. I could look at everything from the moment that I took a hard look at my own life and said, what am I doing here? There's better out there, and I deserve it, and I can find it, and I can have it. And now we're in that first real step of a new chapter. Like, I was careful to avoid common traps of convenience that could have locked us into spaces that I couldn't afford, with people that I couldn't afford the energy they would have required in order to share with them. And I picked me, and I picked my kids, and I set up a work schedule, a career path of sorts, that allowed me to have the flexibility that I need in order to be able to be there for my kids. And they need me, and they want me. And I took the time to work on myself so that I wasn't in a piratey place of like feeling like a victim about everything. And that's how I know that I earned this, you know. I was willing to ask for help. I was willing to try a new direction. I was willing to get creative. I was willing to sacrifice and surrender, my material things, even some things that were incredibly meaningful to me, things that I never would have given up in a million years, and said, no, my children are more important. My happiness is more important. Spirit is more important. The earth is more important. Animals are more important. And now I can sit here and I can think about that first homelessness vlog that I did. I think we were at the Motel 6 talking about being homeless, asking for more help from people. And now it's been, gosh, I want to say at least 2.5 weeks since I've had to ask anybody for any sort of money or donations or anything. I do have a general fundraiser up because there are things that, they're they're immediate, though not urgent, though, like, if they don't get done, they're going to become that way. So, I am praying to Spirit that there's some extra help in there, too. Though, in the meantime, things are covered. Things are good. Things are moving. Things are flowing. Things are growing. And I can see, like, not necessarily the path ahead of me, but many paths ahead of me, and all of them look good. And I know that we've gotten here because I maintained that sort of a healthy attitude about life in general. And I've helped both of my kids see that too and get there in their own ways. Well, y'all, I've rambled on about this for a while. for those of you that have been listening and or will listen later, and you've been somebody that's donated to me or encouraged me or just sent well wishes to me and my sons, like, thank you. I definitely am asking for more, though. Thank you so far. And to those of you that are new or been around a while but have been like, I don't know if I even want to send some happy energy, thank you to you too.